Alright guys, I've got one more game to look at with you guys really quickly. This game will look really familiar, but I'm not sure exactly what the differences are. So this is the Japanese version of NHL Hockey for the Mega Drive. This is called EA Hockey. I've got to get this set up first so that my controller will actually work. There we go, because we're using the Genesis controller. The thing is that this is basically the same game, but with slightly different teams. As you can see, there's a bunch of different nations. All of the modes are exactly the same, so you do exactly the same thing. We'll just do regular season, and we'll do one player home, which I suppose is Team 1. It's not very clear as to which team is which. I don't know how accurate the teams are or are not, but we'll find out in a second. I guess we'll do time up for 10 minutes, and we'll put number change off. That way we don't have to do all of the line work and all that stuff, but we'll keep the penalties on. And we'll see how this one ends up working. You can see there a second ago up at the top that it said EHL Hockey, EAHL I should say. So it's not like NHL. It's supposed to be a I don't know. It's supposed to be an international version of the game. So we'll see how it is and what it's like and all that stuff. It's going to take me a second to adjust over to playing the real game now after playing the Kunio game. And wow, so no two-line passes, so much for that. Anyway, this is exactly the same. This is the game that you would have seen in Japan or in Europe. And this game came out a little bit later, a little bit after the EA the hockey game came out in 1991. This would have been late 1992, I believe. And it's interesting that they left fighting in this game. That's something I wasn't really necessarily expecting to see, especially since this is supposed to be international hockey. So it is. There's a couple of other things to sort of talk about when it comes to this game. For example, at least in the United Kingdom, there was a version that included both the hockey game and John Madden football that came out at some point in time, like the 2 sports game package or something like that, which I think is really interesting, actually. Now, the first John Madden football game is not like an awful game, but comparatively speaking, this game is, I would argue, on a completely different level than the first couple of John Madden games. I mean, not just the first one, but, you know, if you're looking at, like, Madden 93, Madden 94 even, Madden 95, I think that this game is just on a different plane. In terms of, like, you know, the mechanics of the game and stuff like that, this game is a lot more advanced, and you can really do a lot more with it. Anyway, you won't really notice that there are no real life players here on these teams because, I mean, you're just basically playing as different countries. So you know that Canada is going to end up probably being a little bit stronger than Norway. And people were saying, the famous thing, we'll get into this in the video, but the famous thing is that people talk about how the press was looking at an advanced copy of this game during, I think, the Stanley Cup or something in 1991. Like they were able to use, you know, Wayne Gretzky, number 99, and get him in fights and stuff. And it wasn't exactly what the NHL was looking for and was hoping for. So, yeah, that's the way that it goes. Now, since I've got line changes off, it's just basically the front lines on the entire time. So we'll have to get used to that. There's no way that I know of once you turn line changes off to actually change players. So if you want to see one of your favorite players, it's not going to work. We almost got it one time. Oh, we're going to be called for icing here. Surprised? I'm actually surprised. I guess it's because we were down a man. That's the reason why. We're about to be down too. Get back. Come on. All right. Oh, we completely screwed that one up. That was bad. Oh well. No whistles and no foul. Anyway, again, it's basically like exactly the same game. They didn't change anything. The playoff structure is exactly the same. The playoff concept is the same. You're still playing a best of 7 series. It's not even like, oh, here's the Olympic mode or something like that. The only difference is that they made some changes to the teams. We've had bad luck, haven't we? We've been called for penalties every time we turn around. And you can see there, too, they took out the goalie as soon as we were going to be flagged for that penalty. And we got 2. Imagine that. So we're doing great. We got a rarity. That's all right, though. Canada's so good that we figure we give them an advantage. No problem. All right, so no score, but it's all right. I saw that there was somebody the other day on Reddit who was posting about how they're going through the original NHL Hockey and trying to beat the game with every single team, or at least win the playoffs with every team, which requires a lot of dedication. That would not be easy. The thing about this game is that different teams have different abilities depending upon which team you choose, and so some teams are just better than other teams. And the same is definitely true of this game. Like, you're going to have a much better time if you're Canada than if you're, I don't know, whatever other team it is they have. We got called for another penalty again. Our guy just got out of the box. All right, interference. Oh, we got called for 2 penalties. How about that? Like I said, that we're just trying to make it so that it's fair. We have to have a disadvantage. Oh, come on. That was clean. Oh, it's a hockey game, right? He probably just fell on his own accord. He probably fell over his own shoelaces. How was he offside? Oh, I had a guy already down there. No wonder. Anyway, the other thing you notice about this game, unlike our favorite Kunio-kun game, is that, what is he doing? Why is he just, like, camped out on the other side? Whatever. I was gonna say, the other thing you'll notice about this game is that it goes by a little bit faster. Like, Kunio-kun it's fun, but it feels like it takes forever. This game feels like it goes by a little bit faster. Of course, it helps that you're called for penalties every couple minutes if you push the C button too much, so it is. Well, it wouldn't be fun without penalties. don't think Gretzky's been called for anything yet. We don't have enough seats. And we score anyway, so how about that? Oops. It's supposed to be going down. Alright, 1-1. Here we go again. Anyway, it's amazing to me that at their first attempt, sorry about my dog, it's amazing to me that at the first attempt that EA had at making a hockey game, they came out with something like this. Especially when you compare it to some of the first attempts for some of the other EA sports games. So like, if you've played the original FIFA soccer game on Genesis, for example, that's the one that's got the isometric perspective and all that stuff. Like, it's okay, but it's not quite as satisfying as this game is. This game just feels so. I don't know. It just feels right. Like the physics and everything of this game feel right. The balance of this game is right. You know, it feels like they really put a lot of time and effort into this one. Whereas the FIFA game, for example, like, it's okay, but it's really easy to get lost, and it's easy to like not know what you're supposed to be doing. You know. Same thing with the original John Madden Football. Like it's an alright game. It's not a bad game, which is of course why it's so popular. But it's nowhere near as good as people even at the time were saying. This game, in contrast, is really quite impressive and is just so much above like every other hockey game that was out in the market, and was so much better than hockey games that like would come out later. That it's really impressive. And I do think that that's at least got something to do with the reason why so many people to this day think that, you know, the first couple games in the series are really among the best of all time. Again, as I think I said in one of the earlier videos, really the only complaint that I really have about this game is that you can't play like in an actual season mode. You can play through the playoffs, but there's not a way to play a full season, and there's really no battery save feature. Which isn't really necessarily that awful. I mean, in 1991, there were games with battery save features, but not that many, and not that many sports games. So it's not like it was like totally behind the times. I have complained before, though, especially when it comes to the first John Madden football game, or like the second one or whatever, the Tecmo Super Bowl had come out on the NES like right beforehand, and that one had all sorts of battery backup, and yet the Genesis and Super Nintendo, 16-bit games didn't have it at all. So, I mean, the market, I think, was eventually getting to the point where you kind of had to have a full season mode to really compete. Aside from that, this game is really not that bad. Oops. Anyway, there's other stuff that's cool, right? You can easily dump the puck in if you push the C button when you're, behind the blue line. The guys will do it like automatically. As one of the nice things about the controls of this game, it feels like the game knows exactly what it is that you're trying to do. You don't have to like fight against the controls. It feels really natural after a while. That's a big contrast to all of these other games, especially the one that I just played before this, the Kunio-kun game, which is, while it's a fun game, the controls in that game sometimes feel really delayed. It feels like you're like, you know, begging your guy to do something over and over again before he'll actually do it, and doing like super shots and stuff like that can be really, really challenging after a while, just because it's kind of delayed. This game, it's really, really smooth, which is why you can do things like that. Oh, come on. That wasn't that rough. This should allow that. It's just a, you know, open eyes cross check. That's all. What was that for? Anyway, I guess the purpose of this video is to kind of show you all of the various penalties that exist in this game. There we go. There was something I was reading about how one of the programmers was a fan of the Philadelphia Flyers of the 70s, and so they were hoping to make a hockey game where you could, you know, like pound the other team into submission, basically. And so that's probably one of the reasons why you can do so many of these like really violent hits and stuff. I don't think the NHL was necessarily all that pleased with the level of violence in this game. Oh, that was close, close, close. I'm surprised too that it doesn't have a program so that if I, you know, shoot right after the whistle that somebody comes and fights me or something like that. Anyway, the story behind this is that in the end, the NHL didn't want its logo to be associated with a game that had all this fighting and stuff, but the NHLPA was more than happy to, you know, to oblige, and so that's the reason why the second game of the series is called NHLPA Hockey. And that's the reason why it doesn't have any of like the NHL logos or anything like that. And then afterwards, they were able to get both organizations on board, but they had to take out the fighting to make the NHL happy. In the end, though, without the fighting, NHL 94 is actually probably a better game. And it's not like there's a whole ton of fighting here either. I mean, we've had a ton of penalties in this game, but I mean, we've had one fight, so. It's not like they were like overloading this game with enforcers and stuff like that either, so you're not really missing that much. The other thing is that when you play the NHLPA hockey, like you won't even notice that the official logos and stuff are not part of the game, because it really is not that much of a major part of anything. It's just that, you know, you see the logo on the ice, or you see it, you know, during intermission and at the end of the game and stuff like that. So anyway, there you go. We end up winning 1-0, and so that's the Japanese and European version of NHL hockey. And that's probably about it. I'm going to work now on putting together this full feature, whatever, probably like 8 to 10 minute video, and we'll have it come out tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then, and then we'll do some more playing around with random games and see what we can figure out. So I'll talk with you guys later. Take care.